Smart24 Driving Business.
Wow. As you can see on your screen, you can also scan. Was showing something that you can scan, so you can scan, and you can join this space as well on if you are online. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we are looking at positioning yourself. Already I can see that Tina, right from the word go, really was set. She was like, I am going for this, and this is how I'm going for it. But before we get into all the science of positioning oneself, let us see, boy, have you always been confident? Someone asked me, you're hosting Tina. My goodness, Tina is always confident. She walks in a room and everybody pays her attention. So the question is, have you always been this confident?
No, I don't think I have, but I have worked on myself, especially in terms of mindset, in terms of attitude, in terms of perception. And I'll touch on that under the topic of excellence. Because I believe half of your success is on how you perceive yourself, how you perceive others, on your mindset. The other half are other things. But I think half of your success is your attitude, how you present yourself, how you position yourself, how relatable you are out there to the public, to the future. So to me, yes, it hasn't been an easy one, but I am happy that I'm where I'm at now in terms of my mindset.
Wow. So you set out, you were like, at this point I must be able to do ABCD.
Absolutely, because the journey to growth, to potential, to success starts with you. No one is going to shake you and say, Lynn, maybe you should aspire to do this or try that. You have to be your biggest cheerleader, your biggest enforcer. And if you don't do that, no one is going to do that. I mean, parents did that up to a certain level. Your partner or your spouse cannot do that for you. You have to have that own conviction within you. So for me, a lot of growth or development or excellence, half of it is really on my attitude, my general attitude, my mentality, my mindset generally, and of which I think that confidence is a very big part, or plays a big part.
Wow. Now this brings us to the topic of the day. I mean, she's hinted already on a lot of things in regard to our topic of the day. But then we start now and ask ourselves, first of all, what do I need to position myself? Do I need to wake up one morning, I'm saying, okay, I'm lean, so I'm what? And how do I position myself, and for what?
Okay.
And at what point?
Good. Very good point or question, but I want to start kind of like at the beginning.
Okay.
First and foremost, I think one needs to know what excellence is, or what are you driving towards in this journey of excellence. So to me, excellence is being outstanding or being great at what you do, or what you strive or endeavor to do or to be for the future, or in the future, or even in the current, in the moment. So for me, it's about being outstanding, but also
was it always that easy for you to
No.
stay focused?
It's easy to get derailed, I won't lie, and that's where your peer-to-peer relationships come in, or networks come in, because the people that you surround yourself with, Lynn, are ultimately the people that will make or break you.
Yeah.
What do I mean? If you are surrounded by pessimists, by skeptics, you're surrounded by people who don't have direction, they'll obviously poison your mind. They'll brainwash your mind. They will affect you. They'll affect your mindset. They'll affect your perception. So if you're surrounded by that kind of negative energy, it obviously will rub off on you as an individual. But now imagine if it's the other way around. If you surround yourself with people who are like-minded, ambitious, hungry, with the kind of attitude that you have, or at least similar attitudes.
Yes.
Imagine the potential you will have for yourself as a person, just because of the networks you're in, just because of the people you surround yourself with. Actually, together as a network, you might come up with amazing ideas. You might come up with amazing initiatives that will make a wonderful difference to your sector, to your industry, to your community, to your country. So your networks play a big role, because we obviously, as individuals, we can't survive as islands, or, you know, in a singular form. We need people around us. We need friends, family, etc. So the people around us, the people we surround ourselves with, I believe, have a very big bearing on our potential.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And talking about that reminds me of somebody constantly told me, Lynn, you need a mentor. And I kept telling myself, a mentor? I had not really, earlier on in my career, I'd really not understood the need for a mentor. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't think I needed.
In my early career, I had a mentor in Rose Thor, the lady of Scarlet, who literally honed me into what I am today. She honed my skills, she taught me the ropes, and it's because of her that I find myself in this position. And a mentor is absolutely crucial, because in the industries, in the kind of market we're living in, where there's a lot of unpredictability, things are always evolving, new trends are coming up. We have to stay ahead of the curve, and mentors are like almost like a buffer. They're like a blanket to support us in our growth to excellence.
To the excellence.
Yeah.
So in the journey of excellence, we have identified the kind of people we surround ourselves with. Then what? You already spoke about setting goals for oneself.
Yeah.
Is that important for one's, as I position myself for any sort of excellence as well?
Absolutely, because
But what kind of goals?
it depends on your reflection. I should have said this earlier, but the first thing in your growth to excellence is to have to reflect, to do self-reflection. Who you are, who you, who do you want to be, what do you need to do to get to what you want to be, what are your strengths, you know, and leverage on those strengths to get to what you want to be. Because I believe that every single one of us have potential of excellence in us. It's a mindset thing. I'll go back to the mindset. It's a mindset thing. Half of it is a mindset thing. The other half is, what do you learn? Who do you surround yourself with? What do you tell yourself? What have you done to equip yourself or position yourself to be that excellent person? So the journey of excellence requires that you know who you are. That is absolutely important. Introspection is important, because without that, it's almost like you are barking at trees. You need to know where you want to be. That's why I talked about goals in the beginning and objectives, because without that, it's very difficult to have a process, a journey, or direction of where you want to go. So the introspection is important. Reflect on who you are, what your strengths are, set those goals, come up with initiatives or approaches that will help you grow in your respective journey. One of which I talked about is networks.
Yes.
The other, mentorships, we talked about it.
Yes.
But then now there's the practicing. Because you can't reach a certain level or get to a certain destination without practicing to be that thing that you want to be, or that person that you want to be. And the practice has to be intentional. You have to be intentional. You have to be deliberate. So I'll give an example. Let's assume you want to be the most sought after motivational speaker in this country, as an example. Start with your family members, the most accessible people. Every Sunday, every whatever, make them sit and talk. Wow them. Practice. Then slowly transition into your friends. Because the reason I say start with your family is to get to that point where you are at a stage, yes, I have all the tools and the arsenal. The next is now ensuring that you get the platform. We are lucky that in the era that we're in, the digital era that we're in, we have so many platforms at our disposal to promote ourselves. We have YouTube channels, we have Twitter, we have, you name it. So now it's about now you positioning yourself. How do you present yourself as a subject matter expert or point of authority in that area that you want to be excellent at? How do you use the tools available to you to be that great motivational speaker that you see in yourself? So we are really blessed that we're in the 21st century and there's so much at our disposal to use.
Talking about the 21st century, the young people, or the I want to maybe tech-savvy people, the ones who are into these social media platforms, that of course are huge platforms, but are abused. And here you are saying it is a great opportunity because this is where you hone most of your careers. People spend hours on YouTube learning a thing or two, you know. And so when you speak about positioning yourself, let's briefly talk. We're still in the month of March, and we are celebrating women. And this month, this Women's Day theme was about digital. Yes. And so I'm trying to bring that in so that women, especially women and girls, there's a lot we can do. And allow me for a moment. We are girls here. We're trying to look out for the girls for a moment, for the month. Now, talking about digital spaces. The youth, the girls are misusing the spaces. And so as we grow our careers, and they would want to be good, but they don't not know how to do this. And how do we create that intentionality, especially in dealing with the digital spaces?
It's really unfortunate. You're right. This generation is really, I would say, lacks focus a little bit. People are on social media to rant, to vent, making a lot of noise, and yet, to me, the biggest opportunity, like how Fidelis does it, using these platforms to inspire, to create a movement, to create a
critical thinker.
Exactly. Different mindsets is where we need to go. And I touched on it a little bit. I said that we have all these tools available to us. We have YouTube, coming up with a blog, for example, a YouTube channel. There's so many platforms where we can now use those channels to slowly promote ourselves in a responsible manner. In a very responsible, professional manner. So I mentioned motivational speaking as an example. And you don't have to start big and think that in the first attempt you're going to have 1,000 views or 100,000 views. You start slowly and you grow your followers, you grow your movement, you grow your community of influencers or lovers or fans of your particular topics. And that's how it starts. By how do you position yourself? Are you positioning yourself as an expert in that sector, in that field, or are you positioning yourself as a joker, as somebody who is basically wasting space? wasting space, which most people are doing.
Yeah.
So that is where it comes in, like leveraging on the opportunity more than looking at it more as a platform to waste and waste time on useless things, whereas you can use it to position yourself, to grow your base, to grow your community, to grow yourself as a professional.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, you stop using Twitter for abusing people and doing absolutely things that are not going to reflect good on you. So Tina, we are positioning ourselves. You've hinted on quite a number of things, but I'm certain that along this journey, which you have said is a journey, along this journey we are perhaps slowed down. What are the most, when you think about that journey, what are the most important things to note to make sure that they do not slow us down?
One might sound obvious, but it's really important.
Okay.
Well-being is something that I think we don't do a lot of. It might be something that we consider as fairly new or a basic, obvious thing, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Lynn, we need to take care of ourselves. There needs to be an element of work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
We need to ensure that it's not all work and no play.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't, yes, in this journey of excellence, which we all want to be at, which we all need to be at, it's also very important to sometimes take a step back, relax, etc. So that is one. Well-being is something that you need to always remember, that it's important to relax.
But most times people who are hungry for excellence, usually we never take a break. Do you ever take a break? Do you? Because
I try.
And why I'm asking you is because Tina, honestly, I have seen your energy. When you're into something, you're all into it.
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
get time off? Do you breathe?
Yes, I try, Lynn, because it's important. That's how people break down.
Yes.
That's how you hear that this person is on a drip, or you name it.
Has collapsed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fainted. So it's really, really important to take care of your well-being. The second, which I touched on a little bit earlier, was your networks, the people you surround yourself with. You know, it is very easy to be distracted or influenced by somebody's energy, somebody's messaging or narrative. It's very, very easy. So if you are not intentional about the people that you surround yourself with, those can slow you down as well. You know, the last, which sounds obvious as well, is your mindset.
Obviously.
I know we all get into this self-doubt periods, or sometimes you might be like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Am I making any progress? You're not seeing progress. But as I said, Lynn, 50%, according to me and my belief, 50% of your success is your mindset, what you tell yourself. I don't know if you've ever heard this saying, try it tomorrow morning, that what you tell yourself in the morning when you wake up, when you get out of bed, if you tell yourself, I'm going to have a great day, you will. If you tell yourself, I'm going to have a horrible day, you will. So what you tell yourself, and that's the most basic example, but what I'm trying to say is your attitude towards things, towards life, towards career, towards growth, towards excellence matters. If you tell yourself, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I don't have the skills, I lack this and this, you will never progress. But if you tell yourself, let me try, let me learn, let me speak to so and so, let me understand, let me equip myself, do you see the difference?
Yes.
So that matters a lot. It's important that what you sell yourself, and it starts with you, what you sell yourself, you buy it as a person first before you sell it to others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And actually I'm a testimony to most of the things. There are things I've told myself, oh, can I really do it? But what if I try?
Exactly.
And then it's a leap of faith. Sometimes you're just pushing yourself. And I'm going to have to give it a try.
Exactly.
And you'll be shocked at the results. Sometimes I'm like, what? I did that? So amazing. So
Exactly.
I think I agree with you when you say that. Now, people are on our Twitter spaces. And if you're also online and you could send us a question or comment, this is the time. I want to recognize some people here. I see Kenneth. Kenneth, we're glad to have you on the spaces. JKN, glad to see you. Nsimbi, Stella Athiano, glad to see you. We have Duncan, we have Wuma, we have quite a number of people on the spaces. So please, people, if you have a question, please let us know, and our admin will give you speaker rights, and you can speak to Tina, you can ask a question to Tina, or you can, type it in the chat area. But earlier on, we asked Tina about what is true about her and what is not, and she told us 3 things. So we're waiting for you to tell us what you think is true. Is that she is a competent horse rider and an aspiring race driver, as well as a pet lover, especially for dogs. So you let us know what you think of Tina in that regard. And if you want to speak, if you want to ask a question, please ask for speaker rights and let us give you space to speak to Tina, ask her a couple of questions or not. Or leave a comment. Now, Tina, as we have positioned ourselves at this particular moment, after what you've taken us through, we have positioned ourselves, and it takes us back to the goals you talked about, having to set one. You have your mindset, but you also have to set your goals. Now you have set your goals and you are good to go, but at what point do you know you've excelled?
Good question. As I said in the beginning, excellence to me is a journey.
Yes.
It's not a destination. And I think there are different milestones in your journey to excellence. In as much as it's not a destination, I think there are also some milestones that you can celebrate, or milestones that you can aim for. For example, let's say you lack skills in a certain thing, and let's say you get certification. That is something that you can celebrate and say, okay, I've ticked this box, I've ticked this, and I've attained this in my journey to excellence. Because one of the things I touched on was learning and development, which is not always necessarily in the classroom. But for those who can afford going back and equipping yourself, going back to school, getting certification, doing short courses, doing masters, doing undergrad, you name it, enhancing your skills and giving yourself that muscle, that arsenal to say that I am an expert, I have the academic backing, or if not, I have this mentor who's taught me this and this and that. Things like, how you've affected people around you is another way. Nowadays, when it comes to excellence or leadership, it doesn't necessarily have to be what can I use? Visible per se. You can influence people in your community.
Yes.
You can start like women's groups, as an example, networks within women, circles, you name it. We have so much available to us that we can make changes in a step-by-step process. It doesn't have to always be like global level and the whole world can see, but you start it's a step-by-step process. So there are milestones to celebrate. I've mentioned some of them. People start community-based organizations. People start civil society organizations. People start institutes like Fidelis. People mentor others. People get mentees and they put them together in a group and a network, and they impact them, inspire them. So there are so many ways to celebrate these different milestones. And as I said, it doesn't have to always be a big splash whereby you're on CNN or BBC. No, it starts slowly.
Absolutely.
And eventually you get there. But I said you celebrate small milestones.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Celebrate small milestones. I mean, I have a problem. I think I'll come to you for that. I don't know how to celebrate anything about me.
No,
I really don't. In fact, I freak out. I'm like, did I do that? Okay, fine. Okay, next. But then celebrating a milestone for me is a challenge, but I'll come for lectures. I see somebody here giving us a question. JK Intensive said, I don't know if I pronounced your name, but thank you. How does Tina Wamala buy people's trust in the journey of excellence in this challenging society? Fantastic question.
Very good question. Trust is one of the hardest things to gain. But I think everyone knows that trust is built, it's not earned. So we have to grow that trust. And I think the trust comes from a number of character traits that you present. One is integrity, one is professionalism, excellence, proficiency in what you do, consistency.
Yes.
So you will not gain somebody's trust in one day. Authenticity as well.
Yeah.
You won't gain it in one day or in 1 week or in 1 year. It takes time. So it's about also building that relationship, building the stakeholder relations, being someone who is trusted, somebody who is respected in that sector, someone who shows, I'd say, a level head, integrity, responsibility, integrity, you name it.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. And we're asking you, if you have a question, please request for speaker rights if you want, but also you can go to the chat room like our colleague here has asked. JK, thank you for that question. And in fact, it's very interesting because as we journey on to excellence, clearly you need to have people who trust in you.
Yes.
Because if you do not have people trusting you, certainly you're not going to make headway. And people will always question what you're doing, how you're doing it, and you cannot make headway. Thank you so much for that question. If you have another question, let us know. We'll definitely get to you on that. Now, Tina, I think we're starting to get to the point of where we wind up on this conversation. And are you single?
No. No, my dear.
Well, I've been asking people here that we have been hosting for a couple of months now. We keep asking this particular question, and so why I ask particularly this one is because I know you to be driven, and I know you to have a lot of work on your desk. So how do you balance the two?
Hard. It's hard because technically now I have 2 roles or so, or even more than that.
Yeah.
But I think it's having an understanding partner, somebody who knows that I have drive, somebody who knows that I have my life outside of our lives, and we need to ensure that that journey of excellence is something that is not stifled, but something that is supported. So yeah, it's about ensuring that we're on the same page in terms of like understanding my position and the career aspirations I have.
Right. And this actually also brings me to another question, which might be a little bit cliche, but allow me. We face this problem, huge problem. It's cliche, but it's huge. Most, well, I don't want to say outspoken. We're not outspoken. We are, what do you call it? We are able to speak our minds, for lack of a better word.
Yes.
We are able to communicate. We are able to speak, really, and that is always a challenge to the opposite sex, because you come off as intimidating. You come off as
disrespectful.
Exactly. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think our cultural norms have affected us, our values, the patriarchal society we live in. But I think it's about also having a little bit of 2 or 3 hats.
Okay.
You know how they say when you get home, you must put the degrees at the door, or put your positions and titles at the door. You become that nurturer. You became, that is, I think for us women, it's about balancing roles, or the multiple roles that we have, and knowing when we are president of PRAO, when we are, when you're supposed to be when.
Yeah.
And I think men, for them, it's really important that they see that rawness from you, instead of now bringing your titles and imposing titles on you. But it's you're right, it's not an easy one.
It's not an easy one.
It's not an easy
absolutely. Most of us are dreaded. That's it. How do you even talk to her? I mean, but I'm not harmful. Anyway, that is a conversation for another day. Now, Tina, so this is the big reveal.
Smart24, driving business.